We're going to take a look at this on the bench. We're going to go over some of the functionality, how it all works, the menu, how to get set up with your model, how to get it hooked to your drone and get you flying. Good thing about TBS is a lot of this is really easy to use. Okay, in order to get started flashing firmware, take your USB-C data cable, plug it into the bottom of the Tbs Tango 2. Once you plug it in, you're going to select USB Agent HID, and this will hopefully help your PC to recognize this as a storage device / media device. Now, once you have that plugged in, you're going to open up your TBS Agent X app. I did get a pop-up window saying that a newer version would be uploaded in the background. However, that never happened. So what I suggest you do is, if you have a current version, delete it. Go to the TBS Agent X online and go ahead and download the newest version. Once I downloaded the newest version, I had less problems, as we'll talk about in the later half of this video. You'll see here we have 3 different firmwares for the Tango. One is for the TX, another is for the firmware, and the third is for the Wi-Fi. Now you can see I'm on the release candidate 3.53, and the newest version is 3.54. However, even though you can upgrade to this, and you're supposed to be able to get a little bit improved settings as far as lowered brightness for your RGB, a little bit faster load speed for the menu, and merge all the changes from version 2.28, I highly recommend you just staying with the version it comes with. And I'll tell you why. I updated to the newest version of firmware on the Micro TX, on this particular one for the Tango, and it actually created some problems. Once it's downloaded, you'll see you'll get a little reset. It'll say welcome to Tango 2, and you'll get a little download arrow, and then it takes you back to the main menu. But what actually happened when I went to the newest version of this firmware is it would not bind to the receiver. I tried several times, tried over and over again, push different buttons, every button I could think of, but for some odd reason, the newest version of the Tango 2 XF firmware for the TX, the transmitter, it would not bind to my Crossfire Nano receiver. Once I went back to the version that came with the Tango 2, it bound immediately and I had no issues. So I'm going to be reaching out to TBS to see if we can figure out how to get this fixed. I'm sure it's just a bug or a glitch. I am using Windows 10, 64-bit version, so I'm not really sure exactly why it didn't work. But anyway, if you want to update the firmware for the Tango 2, basically there's 2 different places. So once you get here to the left side, you'll see TBS Tango 2, and you'll see a firmware version starting in like a 1.0. Go ahead and upgrade this one from the 1.01 to the 1.10. You can see here there's a lot of telemetry fixes with sensors and available, some model and category bugs. There's a lot of bugs that this actually fixes, including, which we'll talk about in my next video when we set up the telemetry, some of the voltage readouts and some of the settings for the scaling for your voltages to go ahead and get your call outs for your telemetry. But yeah, I upgraded this part of the TBS Tango 2, and this didn't seem to interfere with the binding process whatsoever. So definitely highly recommend doing this version of the update on the firmware. Just click update. It'll take it a minute, but once it gets going, you'll see it start to prepare, write, verify, and then complete. Tango 2 will reboot, and then you're all good to go. Put it down in the comment section too if you've had any issues or any bugs with your TBS Tango 2 with flashing firmware or binding. I really want to get this out there so that we can all kind of work together to get through all the glitches and the bugs. As you know, with all new products, you tend to get these kinds of things. But once they get ironed out, you usually end up with a really, really good solid product. Other than the binding issue on the newest version of the Tango 2 XF firmware, I've had no issues whatsoever. Everything has worked the way it's supposed to. And like I said, I highly recommend downloading the newest version of the TBS Agent X app, which you can get online at teamblacksheep.com. I'll put the website in the description and put a link down there. That way you guys can know where to go to get that if you didn't know already. Like I said, I actually went back and went back to the older version of firmware for the XF version, and that seemed to help out immensely. But thanks so much for watching, guys. And like I said, it did say I was going to get it upgraded in the background, but that actually never happened. So yeah, once you do this, you may have to rebind to the receiver afterwards. If you do, check out my binding video. I'll put it right here. It's on my TBS Tango 2 playlist. And then you should be good to go as far as your binding and getting all your firmware updated to the newest versions. Once I get communication back from Team Black Sheep, I'll make sure I do an update video so we know exactly what to do as to why it's not binding on the newest version of the XF firmware for the Tango 2. But thanks so much for watching, guys. Make sure you check out my TBS Tango 2 playlist. Until next time, guys, thanks for watching. E-Drone, out.